All right, let's talk about blockchain. We're going to cut through all the noise and the jargon today. The big idea here is a massive shift, a move away from trusting people and institutions, and instead putting our confidence directly into code that's totally transparent and open for anyone to see.
So, let me ask you this. What if you didn't have to trust people to manage your money? Seriously. Imagine a financial system that doesn't hang on the promises of bankers or the whims of CEOs. What if, instead, it just ran on a set of rules that were completely out in the open for everyone to see, and that no single person could just change on a whim? That's the rabbit hole we're going down today.
Okay, here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the basics, the public ledger. Then we'll see how that's building a whole new internet, Web 3. We'll get into the big shift from trusting people to trusting code, see how value hops between blockchains, and even peek inside a decentralized bank. Finally, we'll put all the pieces together to see this new economic engine in action.
All right, first up, the public ledger. Let's really get a handle on this fundamental building block.
Okay, so the easiest way to wrap your head around a blockchain? Just think of it like a public accounting book, a ledger. But here's the key difference. Unlike a bank's ledger, which is totally private, this one is open source. That means anyone, you, me, anyone on the planet, can open it up and see every single transaction that's ever been recorded. It's all out there. That's what we mean by radical transparency.
So how does that actually work in practice? Well, a bunch of transactions happen, right? And they get grouped together into what's called a block. You can literally just think of this as a new page in that accounting book. And once that page, that block, is added to the chain of all the previous pages, that's it. It's locked in. It creates this permanent, unchangeable history that, again, anyone can look at.
Okay, moving on to part 2, Web 3, a new internet. Because this tech is so much more than just a fancy accounting book, it's actually the foundation for a whole new version of the internet.
You see, the internet we're all using right now, Web 2.0, it's all built on central servers. Think Google, think Amazon. They own the servers, they store our data. Web 3.0, it's a completely different animal. It's built on these blockchains, and its main job isn't just moving data around, it's about moving value, and doing it in a way that isn't controlled by any one company.
And here's a great way to picture it. Think of each big blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or a newer player like Aperam, as its own massive digital superhighway. But these aren't highways for cars or trucks. They're highways for securely moving digital money and assets from one place to another, from point A to point B, without any detours.
And just like our real-world highways have gas stations and restaurants built alongside them, these digital highways have their own ecosystems. So on a highway like Aperam, you've got platforms like DAO1 setting up shop, offering products and services. And then you get this other essential infrastructure popping up. Things like decentralized exchanges, think of them as rest stops for trading, and blockchain bridges, which are like the interchanges that connect you to all the other superhighways.
All right, part 3. And honestly, this is the big one. This is the core idea of this whole explainer. It's about this huge philosophical shift in who or what we're choosing to trust. Think about it. Our entire traditional world runs on trusting people. We put our confidence in CEOs, in politicians, in bankers. We hope they make the right call. Blockchain systems, they ask something totally different. They ask us to place our confidence not in a person, but in the technology itself, in code that's open for everyone to see, and in public ledgers where the rules just run, automatically, no human approval needed.
But why on earth should you trust some code? Well, the answer is simple. You can have confidence in the technology because you can see exactly what the technology is doing. It's not some black box. The rules are public. Every single action gets stamped onto that public ledger for the whole world to verify.
And this transparency, it's everything. It's how a brand new project can build credibility without needing a famous founder or a flashy office. It puts the power right in your hands. It lets you be the auditor. You can check the health of the project yourself. Are people actually using it? Is money flowing in? You don't have to take someone's word for it. You can verify it. You are empowered to trust the system, not just a person.
Okay, section 4. How value crosses blockchains. So if these are all separate superhighways, a good question is, how do you get off one and onto another? The answer is something called a blockchain bridge. It's pretty much what it sounds like. It's the technology that acts as an on-ramp and off-ramp, letting you move your value from one highway, say Ethereum, over to another one, like Aperam. This is the critical infrastructure that connects this whole ecosystem, letting money flow to wherever the new opportunities are.
Two
$2.3 million. Now, in this world, a number like that isn't just a number. It tells a story. So, what's the story here?
Well, here it is. That $2.3 million, that's the amount of value that real people bridged over from the big established Ethereum highway to the newer Apartum highway. And they did it in just the first 6 weeks. And look, another 841,000 came over from the Binance highway. This isn't just talk. This is real users voting with their wallets, moving their capital to where they see a better future.
All right, part 5. Let's zoom in on one of the coolest and most powerful things being built on these highways, the decentralized bank. We're going to look at how these things called liquidity pools are totally changing the game in finance.
So, you've probably heard of crypto exchanges, right? Most of them are centralized companies. A team runs them and they hold your money in their wallets. A decentralized exchange, or a DEX, is a whole different ballgame. There's no corporate team in charge. It's run by smart contracts, those bits of code that just execute the rules. And the funds? They're not held by a company, they're supplied by normal people like you and me. Once again, it all comes back to trusting the code, not the company.
So, get this. You can actually be the bank. Here's how it works. You can become what's called a liquidity provider. You just take a pair of assets, let's say 100 stablecoins and 100 Aparum tokens, and you deposit them into a pool. By doing that, you're literally helping create the market. You're setting the price. And here's the best part. Whenever someone else makes a trade using that pool, you earn a tiny slice of the transaction fee. You are literally earning money from every trade. You become your own little decentralized bank, and your assets are out there working for you.
Okay, last part. The new economic engine. Let's put all these pieces together, the public ledger, the superhighways, the bridges, the decentralized banks, and see how they all connect to create this incredible new economic machine. And the glue that holds this all together is something called a DAO. That stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization, and it's basically a whole new way to run a company or a community. There's no CEO calling the shots. Instead, the community of users, the people with skin in the game, they vote on decisions. And then those decisions are carried out automatically by smart contracts. It's a system run by the community and enforced by code. Pretty wild, right?
And that leaves us with one final massive question to think about. We've just walked through a world where transparency is king, where code replaces confidence in people, and where literally anyone with an internet connection can build and become their own bank. So if that's the world we're heading into, what does the future of finance even look like?